Hey there friends, welcome back to my channel. It is finally the holiday season, and while things have been pretty damn chaotic, I have managed to come out with one more project just to finish off the year. I am in my festive outfit. I've got my festive makeup on. I'm gonna put a selfie for here just because I am very happy with my holiday makeup this year. Today's project is going to be an upcycle of a safe. Now, I have tried to make this video 3 or 4 times. It has been cursed with technical problems, DIY problems and shortcomings, but since it is the season of giving, instead of completely scrapping it, because trust me, it has had its moments, I have decided to cover it in snow, give it that warm candlelight glow of the season and show it off to you, because honestly, despite all of the chaos, this is still probably one of my favourite projects that I've done, and I know that I can't keep saying it, but truly, before and after is such a stark contrast. So before I continue waffling on, let's get into it. It's me again, the girl that refuses to pay £30 for a piece of plastic to film her mic stand. So it's been a long while since I've done a fully fledged, start to finish DIY project, and today I'm going to be working on upcycling my safe. Now, why does a girl like me have a safe? The camera refuses to tell me. Come on, I'm human, focus on me. Thank you. So I remember a few years ago, I found out about a story about a guy that traded a paperclip and traded it for something else, and then traded that thing for something else, and eventually got all the way up to a house. I think it was a story I first heard when I was a kid. It was in the Guinness Book of World Records, and of course I got one of those every Christmas. So when I re-found this story a few years ago, I had a miniature screwdriver. I think it was like a screwdriver for like glasses or something, super cute on a keyring, and I traded it with a friend for my safe. And not wanting to part with the safe just yet, I wanted to give it a little whimsical makeover, as is my series. And yeah, this is the plan. So I wanted to give this safe a vintagey, antique, steampunky feel to it. Originally, I wanted it to be maroon, like burgundy and gold detailing. However, I could not find any burgundy metal paint. I could have gone online, but I did not. I'm going to put up this image here. This is the kind of colour scheme that I'm going for. However, I want to add more filigree designs, and I'm going to make a false handle, false plate and false dial and things to stick to the front, hopefully. The first step is I'm going to set up my area, give it a clean down, and give it a first coat of, what do we have here? Wilko metallic bronze metal paint. And I'm not sure how the bronze is going to look against the gold. So once I've got a first coat on, I'm just going to do a little test a bit of gold. If it is too close, I might try and add a bit of red. We'll do some testers. I call this section the plan and then reveal how little planning I've done. But with that being said, let's go. This is how we begin. She's an uninspired grey box with all of the blandness. Let's fix her up. Firstly, I get into something a tad more practical. I lay down the everything towel and my little red step to keep it off the ground and lug over the safe. And with rubber gloves donned, I begin giving it a thorough clean. Once she's all clean, I open the metal paint and immediately slop it all on my hands. But it's time for the first coat. I'd thought of giving it an undercoat of white, but I really think the blue shade helped counterbalance the so-called bronze colour. And with the second coat, you can really see that colour starting to build. Towards the end, I may have been getting a little landlord special on the coats. Alright, it is day 2. So I ended up doing 3 coats of the metal paint on the safe last night, and I'll be honest, I'll put video here, I'll be honest, I'm really happy with how it's looking. It's not at all the colour that I thought it was going to be. I now realise that the colour on the picture on the front is in fact gold and not bronze, which is fine. We can work with that. Like I said previously, I was going to add more red to it. I definitely do not need to add more red to it. It is the perfect colour for what I envisioned, so oddly hopeful for this one, actually. So last night I designed this, which is vastly out of my artistic ability to recreate in person. However, it was fun to do. What I have done is the one time out of a decade that I need to use a printer, my printer has no ink. So I went to the printers and got, I will also put that picture there, 2 different sizes of the filigree corner. 2 different sizes of the filigree corner, and I'm going to hopefully use carbon paper and trace over this and get the design onto the safe. But another thing that I wanted to do is, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Just like fine lining. I think there's a word for it. I am not gonna look it up. But I just want to do like a border around the outside as well. So I think I'm going to start sketching that one first. But yeah, we'll cut back to time-lapse me. Let's go.
A few moments later.
So I just got up to film the nice little segment of how happy I am with how it looks. And last night I left it drying with the door open so that I didn't landlord special it closed. And well, that's happened. So I'm gonna go and investigate it further and see what I can do about that. Oh no. Hi, Dad.
I don't know who you are.
How are you?
I don't know what you want.
Can you help me with a project I've been working on?
I do have a very particular set of skills.
Okay.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
Great.
Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
Okay, yeah, no, I'll do that. Alright, bye. So, after a brief chat with someone far more capable than I am, I began removing all of the peeling paint and then buffing the hard edge of it with sandpaper. Once that was done, I brushed off any dust and went in with a very thin coat of paint, this time leaving it to dry a jar only a smidge. And on that second coat, I just give the whole safe a once over. Day 3 and no flashy intros, I was in the zone. I start on a third coat with a more delicate paintbrush, first on the door, then the rest of the safe with a larger brush. Once that was all dry, it was time to start sketching the designs on. Utterly winging it, I wrap a pencil with some string and use that as a sort of compass to create the corner sections on each face. And then I drew the lines between them with a ruler. Now was time for the first black lining and setting out the shapes of the design. Then I went in with a gold outlining. Going in with a second coat of gold, I thicken up the line and straighten it out. I then repeat it on all sides. I knew as soon as I said it yesterday that I was not going to get it all done. So we are now in day 4, a nice, gentle, cozy schedule. However, today we are going to get it done. So, we're doing the gold, we're doing the filigree, you know what's up, let's go. So I cut out the little filigree designs I'd printed and taped them onto some carbon paper. I then cut them out again and placed them where I want them on the safe. Once this was done, I begin the very laborious task of overlining the filigree with pencil, pushing the carbon from the carbon paper onto the surface and printing it on. It was showing up, but so faintly, so I needed the assistance of a torch to go over it with Posca. I then repeated this on all sides, 16 filigree corners with some bad carbon paper and an ever-blunting pencil. Once I'd lined them with the black Posca, I filled them in with the gold, trying to maintain the details where I could. After 2 coats of the gold, I take a white Posca and add some highlights to the filigree and the border, and then I outline the whole thing again with some black. 16 times. So I feel like maybe a little bit more planning should have gone into this. I didn't even have a day 5 screen. I've had to make a day 5 screen for this. But in every time that I've said it will be finished today, I think I've said that every day so far, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm going to finish it today. Yesterday I had to absolutely give up. I think my carbon paper is old or cheap. For some reason, it's not transferring quite as easily as I'm used to. And yesterday, my wrist was absolutely killing me just from doing the ones that I did. And that is literally the tip of the iceberg. I've got so many more of them to do. So I'm going to try a few things today to see if that helps at all. I'm really hoping I can find a way of making it just a little bit easier on myself, because my poor wrist cannot cope with scribbling onto carbon paper that is not going to help me. Also, all of these days that I've said it's going to be finished today, it's going to be finished today, I was looking at the door last night and thinking, oh, it does look a little plain. And it does look plain, and I wonder why. I had planned on making dials and a handle for the front out of epoxy putty, and I had completely forgotten to order the epoxy. So I ordered some yesterday, and it's arrived today, and whenever you order something on the internet, you definitely need to check the size. So me and 120 grams of epoxy putty are going to be making friends. I do not think this is going to be enough. I may have to get another one. I also don't have any greaseproof paper, so what I'm going to do is cling film my desk, work on that, and see how we get on with it. Sort of a lot of this project has been trust the process that you don't know the process. Join me on this. Yes, this has leaked into another day. I want to get it 98% done today. And the only reason that I'm saying that it's not going to be 100% done is because I don't know how long the epoxy takes to set. And I want to allocate overnight so that I don't have a revisitation of my glass bottles that I worked on. They do actually have instructions inside, so give me a second. 1 hour for initial 1 hour for initial cure, 24 hours for full cure. Okay, so yeah. I've been debating whether to lay out some cling film and model the epoxy onto the cling film and then stick it on once it's dry. I am also considering modeling it straight onto the front. And thirdly, I am also considering doing a little like screw hole in the front and then modeling the handle to screw into the front, because I just have a feeling that either of the first two options are gonna just fall off. I don't have that much here. This is so much less than I expected. At minimum, I want to make the handle for the front. Ideally, I'd like to make the handle for the front and a nice little like nameplate. If it doesn't happen, that's not the worst thing in the world. I can find another product. However, for the handle, which I will put a picture of the sort of antique safe handle that I'm looking at trying to recreate. This is scary. I haven't had good luck with this previously, so that's going to be the second half of today. The first half of today is going to be finishing the filigree once again. The last side that I have to do is the top. I have been considering doing extra filigree on the top, but we will see how my energy levels go. We will see how the carbon paper is acting. I'm gonna time lapse once again very quickly, finishing off the top because it gets a bit repetitive. I can imagine it's quite repetitive at this point. We'll speed through that and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty in a bit more detail. Day 7? I think it's day 7. This is a week-long project now. Let's get into it. Cameras over here. Okay, so it has been nearly 4 months. It's been nearly 4 months since I worked on this safe project. So we're gonna get it done in the next few days and I'm just gonna have a look over it. It's been used as a tabletop in the meantime, so I'm gonna give it a dust down, give it a once over, see what needs to be done to the outside of it, and then I'm going to epoxy the handle, screw a hole into the door, and fingers crossed it's all going to come together and it's all going to be wonderful and less chaotic, and it's not going to take another 4 months to finish this. So let's go! After 4 months I finally finished the outline on the top side. And once that's done, I can give each side an all-over coat of satin varnish, so that's exactly what I do. While that was drying, it was time to model the handle. After some very sound advice, I decided to model the handle onto an existing cabinet door handle and screw it through the door. I'm glad that I took this advice, as you'll soon see. So I begin by ever so slightly roughing up the finished edge of the handle to make sure the epoxy would adhere better, and I begin to mix the two parts of the epoxy together. I keep rolling it and blending it with my hands until it's a malleable clay-like ball. My first goal is to cover the whole handle in the epoxy so I can begin reshaping it and starting to build up that hand shape. Then, once that's done, I begin rolling little sausages for fingers and place them over and around the handle. Oh, and I make sure to place the thumb underneath. I then build up the top of the hand so it's not quite so skeletal, and mould the hand into the wrist, smoothing it as I go. Using the back of the hair grip, I stamp between the fingers again to bring back some detail. And leave it upend so it can dry. I roll a fair-sized ball. I flatten it completely and then lift it off the plastic so it won't stick, lightly placing it back down. I stamp the screw from the cabinet handle to make a hole in the centre and roll 2 sausages to add some rings to the base. Just to try it out, I model a second standalone handle. But it's easy to see how badly this would have gone. So, giving up with that, I cover the end of the key with epoxy and add some small detailing. And I leave everything to cure and dry overnight. The next morning, I gave the epoxy extras a coat in Posca Gold. And I hated it. It was far too yellow, but I knew just the thing. So gold leaf it was. I cover the pieces in a coat of gold leaf adhesive and get to work covering all the nooks and the crannies, and I immediately knew that it was the right choice. But I now had another problem. The gold leaf of the extras now outshone the gold of the detailing on the safe. And well, if in doubt, add more gilding. So taking a thin brush, I begin to lay down some gold leaf adhesive on the outlining and the filigree. And then I add so much gold leaf. I was losing a lot of the detail on the filigree, but that gleam of gold was well worth it. Though I did have to repaint over some of the random flecks of gold that were getting everywhere. Firstly, shout out to this makeup. I feel gorgeous today. However, there has been some bad news. My phone decided to break and glitch and just brick itself just delightfully, and because of that, all of the rest of my safe footage is gone. Woo! And while I have been debating whether to even finish this video at this point, because I have lost so much extra footage, I think I owe it to myself. So if you're seeing this, I have grinned and bared it and done my best with what I can. I do believe that the only thing we missed is definitely the drilling. That was a whole saga. I won't go into it right now. What I'm gonna do is do an extra glam, extra glitzy reveal section and try and overcompensate. I lost so much footage, so let me break it down. I hand drilled into that safe front for my dear life. I drilled and I drilled. Then I realised the drill bits I had for it were blunt as hell, and no amount of sheer will would let me hand drill through what I assume is steel. So I used a really neat local service called Borrow Don't Buy, and I rented a drill for a week, which did the job immediately. Then all I needed to do was stick on the base plate, put the bolt through the hole, and screw the handle into it. Voila! Mwah! I am so happy with how it turned out. Despite all of the problems, despite the tech issues, despite everything seemingly going wrong, I am so happy with how it turned out. And like, thinking that this is going to be the last video that I put out this year it's really making me reflect on how eventful this year has been. I've really challenged myself to make my home more whimsical, and what better time of year to celebrate it than the time of year when everybody makes their home a little bit more whimsical for the season. That being said, the end of this year has been completely chaotic, so I am really hoping to pull it together for next year. We're going into 2026 cleansed, creative and wonderful. If you like what you see, hit like. If you want to stick around, hit subscribe. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, no matter what you're celebrating, celebrate it with joy. Bye!